Meanwhile, Houston, the largest city in Texas, is expecting at least 20 inches of rain. Houston is home to the country's multi-billion-dollar petrochemical industry, which means Harvey may threaten much more than just the businesses along the Gulf Coast. But as Manuel Bojorquez explains, the area has dealt with hurricanes in the past.
With Harvey's arrival now imminent, people are moving inland, away from the low-lying coastal areas that were nearly obliterated by Hurricane Ike in 2008.
Walls blown out, boats turned upside down, some cars floating.
Hurricane Ike holds the distinction of being the costliest weather event in Texas history. 103 people were killed in the U.S., while about $30 billion was spent to repair the damage. The Galveston seawall is 17 feet high. A storm surge over that could travel from the Gulf of Mexico into Galveston Bay and up the Houston shipping channel, crippling one of the nation's busiest ports. It's also home to several major refineries.
Hopefully this is a wake-up call, but it could become an absolute horror movie.
Jim Blackburn is an environmental engineer at Rice University. He says Houston's current infrastructure won't hold up if the city takes a hit.
If we reach those levels, we could see the worst environmental disaster in United States history and would probably shut down and cause a major gap in gasoline and jet fuel and other types of critical products availability.
For some Texans, that's reason enough to leave town.
We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to come back to a home or what damage we're coming home to, and so it's sad, it's scary.
Well, Manuel Bojorquez joins us now from Port Lavaca. I think that is what it is, Manuel. You know, we saw David at Port
Lavaca, yep.
There you go, perfect. We saw David in Corpus Christi. There, it looks like the winds are really whipping up now. What are conditions like where you are?
Well, just within the last half hour, I would say we've really started to see the wind really kick up to the point that the crew right now is actually having to hold on to the lights and our stands just to prevent them from falling over. And you can see what it's doing to the ocean behind me. And this is what we're talking about, the big danger. It starts to creep up. This is nowhere near what it's going to be. Expected to be up to 12 feet, storm surge in some areas. So at the height of this hurricane, when it is making landfall, where I'm standing clearly would be underwater, and we've had many people already say, we know you're here to report this, but we just want to make sure that you don't linger here too long because it's going to start happening. Of course, that will be much later today.
Your story mentioned that this storm could badly damage the busy ports near Houston. I expect that if that happens, the rest of the country could certainly see a ripple effect.
Yeah, clearly the most important impacts of this storm, this hurricane, will be to life and property here along the coast, not only in Texas, but in Louisiana. But this will have a national impact. If Harvey remains on course and impacts the cluster of oil refineries in this region, well, those put out 5 million barrels of oil per day. And already we're starting to see that the average price of gasoline nationwide has already started to surge to the highest level since April. That can only be expected to tick up. So this hurricane, of course, clearly the biggest impacts will be here, but definitely there will be some national impacts from all of this.
Right, and of course we would expect things to slow down there, but if the shipping channel is actually damaged, then it has to be repaired, then we could see a ripple effect lasting much, much longer than just the period of time that the storm is hitting the area. Are people sticking around? Are they leaving? What's going on where you are?
Yeah, we are in an area that is under a mandatory evacuation, and as we referenced earlier, we have had authorities come up to us just to ask who we were. If they're media, they say, okay, you guys are on your own, but just know to get out as soon as you see that things start to get a little too dicey. But they're looking for people who are deciding to stay or who have not left yet. We do know that driving down here, we're seeing more traffic heading out towards the higher ground here, so that is a good sign. You will always have people who stick around. That's not what officials want. But looking around this morning, the businesses that are around this beach area where we are right now, they're closed, not much activity. It's a bit of a ghost town, but that's what officials want. They want people to shutter their businesses, their homes, and get out.
Yeah, we were just playing lots of video of people boarding things up, getting everything squared away before this storm hits. Manuel Bojorquez in Port Lavaca. Thank you very much, Manuel. Stay safe.